Hey there, Mark.
I'm Evan.
And on this week's podcast episode, we talk about rebuilding.
It's season 4. Start of a new
Season
season.
4! Hey! You just ruined the surprise. When they were listening, they were
Well, it's basically the same thing, guys.
It's more of Evan yelling and having amazing breakthroughs.
Here we are, Something Approved podcast.
Evan was 1 minute late.
I was not late. Mark was late, but we're here.
No.
I have something to prove. Mark has something to prove. You
I
have something to prove.
We all have something to prove.
And here we are.
Welcome to season 4 of the Something to Prove podcast.
Wait, is this a new season?
It's a brand new season starting today.
Wow, you just decided. We didn't really close our last season on anything special.
No. Yes, it was. It was the greatest episode ever. You made me cry last week.
Okay.
So, really, really good about it. And Joshua suggested that we got to close out season 3. We got to move on to season 4.
Wow.
Coming up on this season, we are going to build something extraordinary.
Great. I'm
So
ready.
I think he's ready for deconstruction to be over and for construction or reconstruction to begin.
If anybody listening is surprised that you didn't get the memo that season 4 is starting, don't worry. I just got the memo right now in this episode too. So
If I had sent you a note or an email saying, "Hey,
did you?
We're wrapping up," and no, if I had, would you have even cared?
I care.
No, you wouldn't have cared. You would have been like, "Whatever, Mark. That's fine. Season 3, season 4,
I care.
whatever."
Listen, I care about this show. I care about my dear friend Mark.
Good.
I don't know if I would have come up with anything new. Like maybe this whole season we talk in French. Comment ça va, Mark Jagger? Ça va bien, mon ami. Allons-y. Créer. How do you say
Je ne parle pas français.
Wow, that's brutal.
My French is very, very bad.
Rough,
Now I could bring Silas in here, who's
German
in grade 4. My German is. I don't have any German either. I struggle enough with English, man.
Okay, let's go. English season 4. It's official. We're English. Let's go. What are we talking about?
It's official. We're in season 4. So did we want to update the audience?
Is there a different theme to this season or a different structure? Or is it basically just
same structure? But yeah, do you want to... What's the problem? It was the same as when we went from season 2 to season 3.
I'm going to let Mark run the show because we're going in circles. So go, Mark. Here we go.
We're going. So I wanted to fill in the audience because your recommendation last week, if you remember, I wasn't feeling so good. Your recommendation was that I was supposed to spend the 20 hours putting the fence posts in.
Okay, can we back up for a second? I know this might not be great for the audience, but
that's fine.
I hounded you for like 5 weeks about what? Was it making the calls, a hiring a salesperson, or what?
It wasn't 5 weeks, but about sending out emails for lead generation.
That was way back though. Like in the past, wasn't it about getting a salesperson? Wasn't I on you like constantly?
No, that was something that you just came up with. But no, you wanted me to focus on business development. You wanted me to send emails.
But then you did it. Then you sent the 50, and then it was just that was it for the past 5 weeks. Not last week, but the 5 weeks before, I was pounding you every week.
Yeah, because we launched a new website, which you didn't think we needed.
Right.
I asked you for a testimonial, which you wouldn't give me because you said
right.
I'm my addiction.
Very happy. Right. Perfect.
So you wouldn't give me a testimonial because you're like,
right.
No, I'm not enabling your addiction.
Exactly. I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
And my thing was just reach out to people.
Just keep reaching out to people.
And did you do it?
I have been. Yeah.
You've been reaching out to new people?
Yeah.
All right. I feel like I had a big win, but I don't remember what the win was. It doesn't feel like it was a win.
The win last week.
No, I know last week. I remember last week. It was before that with the whole pounding you for 5 weeks on. I thought it was get a salesperson.
That was something that you and Louis have discussed. It's something that you've mentioned to me in passing, but it's not something that we've budgeted or even.
All right.
Yeah, you want me to find the bow of lead generation for Fanta. But
oh my God, Bo is on fire. Bo got me Seth Godin.
Yeah, he's good.
Who do I have?
I just had 2 amazing podcasts.
My first 5 interviews for my new show are Dean Graziosi, Dr. Gundry.
What's the new show?
Right. I haven't talked about the new show.
No.
Dr. Gundry, Kevin O'Leary.
Nice.
Who did I just say? Oh, Seth Godin and Jay Shetty are my first 5. That's a good start.
So
anyway,
what's the new
okay.
show?
We'll talk about it. What, sorry to interrupt. Okay. So
No. I'm curious now. Now you don't want to talk about it.
We'll get into it. No, I'm fine to talk about it, but you were updating us on last week.
Yes. So for the audience.
Okay. We're back.
Last week, your big breakthrough was that when I was off doing things, listening to podcasts and learning and doing all these things that help me feel like I'm progressing.
Very genius.
It just make me feel worse about myself. That I should spend the time. I was gonna plant. Remember, I was gonna plant fence posts.
Nice, I like it.
And that I was gonna spend that time not listening to podcasts and thinking about work and other things. And so you asked me last night or 2 nights ago. You asked me how it went. I didn't listen to podcasts. I have not listened to any podcasts since last Thursday morning. So it's been a week.
Okay.
I listened to any podcasts. I've listened to some books on tapes and stuff, but I feel like that's safer.
Ooh.
But
okay.
What's that? Ooh.
Okay, keep going. How do you feel?
Sure.
How do you feel?
Anyway, I felt good on the weekend. I couldn't. The work wasn't mind-numbing enough or repetitive enough for me to be able to check out and actually think about work and want to do work. There was so much time and so much effort that went into this project of putting this fence up that there was oh my goodness.
Okay, but what would you have done? Would you have normally listened to podcasts while putting the fence up, or would you have said
some podcasts and some music? Yeah. Okay,
so you would have normally listened to podcasts.
Yeah, at least 4 or 5 hours maybe.
Have it in the background. Okay.
Okay.
And how do you feel coming out of it? How did you feel not listening to podcasts?
So I felt pretty good on the weekend. I felt good about accomplishing my goals. It was a really, really tough project. I rented, so, you may not have interest in this, but maybe the honest is anyway, when you put in a fence, you got to dig holes. The holes have to be 4 feet deep. I live in a place with a lot of clay. And so this thing that I rented that was
your friend came over and saved you and whatever.
That's not the important part of the story.
How was your mental? Not that you did it, because normally you feel proud of yourself anyway for having done the thing, and you have something to show for it that you wanted to do for years, and here it is. Fine, awesome, great.
Finally, here it is. Finally,
yeah. But that you would have felt great about that either way. What I'm more concerned about is the afterwards, where Mark would normally listen to a podcast and feel a certain way, versus now you listen to some music or just had nothing.
Yeah. There was one day where I listened to nothing, but
and how did you feel coming out of that?
Well, I told you that I felt good. I felt good, but I don't know if I felt good because it worked. So I'm going to try it again this weekend. Or I don't know if I felt good because I just hit a point where I was there's nowhere to go but up. So let's go already.
Why did you do music the next day instead of back to nothing?
So that next day, how long was I outside for? I don't know, 8 hours or 9 hours. Not listening to anything is really boring, man.
No, but it's not, you have the downtime to think about stuff. It's not boring.
But so that was the thing. The work was precise enough and challenging enough that I didn't actually have a lot of downtime for thinking. I had to think about what I was doing.
But then why is it boring?
Why is it boring? Because it's putting in 17 fence posts. So it's doing the same thing over and over again, over and over again, being an hour and a half. So doing the same hour and a half, the same 8 steps that take an hour and a half, 17 times in a row.
Are you thinking about it?
Yes.
And therefore it's not boring?
It can be both, you Mr. Black and White,
no.
You could have to think about, when you're leveling a 10-foot post in a hole, you can have to think about is it level? Is it straight? Is it plumb?
But then it's not boring.
It's still boring. Of course it is. Doing the same thing 17 times in a row over the course of 3 days is boring.
I don't know how you define boring, but if your mind is active, you're not bored.
Okay, so let's say that you had to paint. Let's say you had to paint your office, a bathroom, and a bedroom in your house, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's precise enough that you're cutting in lines, that you're doing stuff, you're doing trim, you're doing baseboard, you're doing all this stuff. By the second or third room, it's not like the excitement's there, dude. It's worn off. So it's precise enough that you have to do the work and think about what you're doing, but it's boring. It's dull. Do you not find that stuff dull and boring? Or are you just attacking? I mean, I don't know if you've ever painted that much in your life, but if you're painting for 2 or 3 days straight, it gets dull, man.
I think when you're using your mind, you're not bored. I think the spaces in between using your mind, and you're very bored. You're bored. Boredom, like what?
This is such a weird disagreement. What are you talking about? Of course you can be using your mind and still be bored.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Well, this is great. This is good to look at. I'm going to look it up because this is helpful.
So you don't think that there's a difference between like tasks?
Okay, so in conventional usage, boredom is an emotional and occasionally psychological state experienced when an individual is left without anything in particular to do, is not interested in their surroundings, or feels that a day or period is dull or tedious.
There you go, dull or tedious, right there. You could be doing tedious work that still requires your attention.
No, you're just trying to justify it. That's not an actual answer. Okay, keep going.
When was the last time that you did something dull and tedious 3 days in a row, but it required you to do it right? When was the last time you did that?
Whatever. This doesn't answer the question. It's still more. It's there's thinking in between. The thinking part is not boring.
And what I was thinking about was making sure that I did this project properly. So I have another opportunity the next time I do a project like this to see if I can't think about work.
What would that be? Can you be thinking and bored? No. Can you be thinking? I don't think you can. But
of course you can.
Okay, keep going.
You can be bored doing anything.
I don't think while you're thinking about something, you can be bored. This is what it comes down to. Okay.
Anyway, so Monday was a really rainy day here, which actually helped a lot. It was a really good transition from all that hard work and all that stuff that we were doing and all the time on vacation into hustle mode at Fanta. So I would say that not listening to podcasts was a good piece of advice. Now, I love consuming content. So like it feeds my soul. It's something that I used to, when COVID happened in March and April, I spent a lot of time reminding myself that I need to listen to things and engage in things and consume that content because it helps me so much. So
yeah, but that's just like saying you like to eat food. The problem is you don't digest it properly. Like no. No, but so like, I need nutrition. Yes, it's not like never listen to a single podcast. You're just lumping all food together. But some foods will give you indigestion and cancer. That's the problem.
You're in such a weird mood today.
I'm in a great mood.
Are you? So anyway, did it work?
I think you don't know how to digest a lot of podcasts because the way you hear it, and maybe even inside the same meal, you just go to a negative dark spot, and the learning that you get from it is way more, it's not balanced out. Like the acid reflux you get from it is way worse for you than the nutritional value you're getting from the meal. That's the problem.
Are you leaning on your desk right now? Is that happening?
Yeah, good call.
Stand straight, Evan.
I'm doing it. Thank you. Anyway.
Are you still researching? Because this is an exciting podcast. When you're researching, can you be thinking and bored at the same time?
Dude, I just dropped an insane knowledge bomb that changes your life. Like that's
I'm not digesting my learning properly.
Yeah.
That was a funny reaction.
You're not digesting. It's like a meal. You need to eat. The solution isn't never learn. That's silly. But you're not digesting it properly, and it's fueling your insecurities and self-doubt and manic and all that stuff instead of actually feeding you.
Well,
you're like allergic to cauliflower mushrooms. This is what it is. You're allergic to mushrooms. Aren't you actually allergic to mushrooms?
Not allergic. I just don't like most of them.
Oh. Well, this is something that you like, but you're allergic to it. What do you like, but you're allergic to?
I'm not allergic to anything.
Really?
0 allergies.
Well, what food, like if you ate, would give you the biggest like weight gain? What would you overindulge in if you could?
Well, I mean, so there are things that give me like, oof, gosh, terrible indigestion, stuff like that. Like I like Caesar salad, but I don't eat it.
There you go. That's it. A lot of podcasts are like Caesar salad for you.
Yeah. Pepperoni sticks. Love pepperoni. Can't eat it.
That's terrible. It. That's what it does. It's like, it tastes good. Like, ooh, this is good. But really it's just causing you indigestion and you hate your life. That's
you want to really go there. Dip the pepperoni sticks in Caesar salad dressing.
Yeah. With mushrooms. Let's go.
Anyway, for season 4 of the podcast, we want to focus on the rebuild, on the build, on the steps that we need to take to making it happen. And so, so this week, my main focus has been obviously in moving things a lot quicker. I got Evan a landing page. He spent the last 2 weeks talking about the landing page as well. Landing page. I got that for you on Tuesday.
Yeah. I put it up yesterday. We just need the video. I did all the videos except for the one that I don't know how to do.
Yep.
Even mobile optimized the videos. Dude, I was so proud of myself for that. When you upload a video to Wistia, it defaults to the horizontal, which people are used to on a desktop. But then you can do custom embed where it actually mobile optimizes it. So it optimizes to the screen. So when it's super wide, it looks terrible. Like on a desktop, when you do full width, it's just now this giant Tom Bilyeu taking over like 3 screens because you have to scroll because it optimizes for the width. But on the phone, it's so much better. Like, I figured that out. That's amazing. That was something I was going to give to my editor to do anyway, but it's like, okay, let's get it up. Let's go. I was very stressed out doing that yesterday.
Were you?
Yeah, because like I was one of those projects, I think people can relate to this, where you really want to get it done. And you know you're not going to have time to come back to it the next day or the day after. Like, this was my day to get it done. And every time I thought it was done, there was one more thing that I had to change. Oh, it's not, the mobile, it's not there. Oh, the links don't go to the right spot on the page. The picture I just edited isn't on the phone version with the white background. Oh, the Wistia, it's like there's always one more. You think you're done, there's one more thing. You think you're done, there's one more thing. And so I was rushing to get it done before I did my stream yesterday. And I got it done like 15 minutes before, when I thought I was going to get it done with like an hour or 2 to spare and move on to other things. And so, whatever, the other things didn't happen. I'm okay with that. But it's like one more thing. And it felt like it just was never done. And then I finally got it done. So, but I was rushed. I felt really rushed getting into it. And I'm proud that we got it done, but it took mental strength and stamina to get through yesterday to do it.
Mental strength and stamina.
Yeah, I had to tap into like, I do tough things. Let's go. Like another thing. Are you kidding me? Another thing. And then the thing that I gave, what?
You were getting frustrated?
Yeah, I was worried that I wouldn't get it done and that I didn't want to leave the project half baked. Like the whole Wistia thing, I could have given to Christina to do, my editor, and it would have been done fine. I mean, it would have been a day or 2, whatever. But I just wanted to get it done. But once I started it, I didn't want to leave it undone. And so another problem. So yeah, I was getting frustrated, more like stressed that I might run out of time because I had to go live on my stream. Anyway, I got it done, but it required more so than like I was up till 4:30 this morning thinking about my YouTube channel, because yesterday was YouTube day and I had all these ideas like, oh my God. And I went to sleep at midnight and couldn't sleep. So I got up and then went back to bed at 2 or 2:30, couldn't sleep, got back. Anyway, so 4:30 is when I actually went to sleep and finally passed out. But today requires less mental fortitude than yesterday getting that stuff done and stressing out that I wouldn't get it done on time. So welcome to the life of Evan Carmichael.
I thought of you this morning, actually, because I was feeling horrible after my workout. I felt horrible. So like I felt hot. I felt, I didn't feel good. And so I was thinking, I was like, like anyone else feeling as badly as I'm feeling right now would just go up to bed. And then I was like, but today matters. This work matters. I can push through. I can do this. Evan certainly wouldn't take a day off to go chill up in bed or whatever. So You inspired me to push through.
All right. I like it. I might take some time off to, relax, unwind, whatever, if I felt like I really needed it.
But you just rarely feel like you need it.
Yeah. Well, mostly, like, honestly, if I had every day like yesterday, I would need more. This is something I've been playing with a lot. So Robin Sharma is huge on this of like insane focus and then total decompression and nothing. So one of the books I'm reading right now is the 5 a.m. Club.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so that's part of it. And I've never fully like resonated with that.
That's something I struggle with is that, like if I have these big meetings or these big pitches or whatever, it's all consuming for me. And so like I spend so much time and so much energy worried and focused on it. And then when it's done, I walk out and the last thing I want to do is jump onto the next thing. I want time to to decompress and to relax and to celebrate or to chill or to, and for me, I've had to force myself to try and get into the next thing because I actually want to put a gap there. So this is interesting to me that someone's suggesting that gap is healthy.
Yeah, that he says high achievers, and I haven't, I skimmed that part. I wasn't, didn't feel super resonated, but yeah. So I'm not going to do him. Justice on the explanation. But basically, that to be productive, you have to have periods of insane, focused, total locus of control, no distractions, just go to town and get work done. So like when he's writing this book, he just books a hotel or something and just like nobody can talk to him and he just gets it done. And then total opposite of, he goes for massages 2 times a week and walking into the forest and, just like total disconnect, unplug. For the most part, I don't feel like I need it. And this might be a personality thing or I don't know, maybe I'm missing something. People ask me all the time on my stream, what about digital detox? What do you think about digital detox? It's like, I don't know. I felt like I don't need it. Like it doesn't call to me at all. Like if I go away for a day or I can't be on my cell phone or whatever, or internet, it's not like, man, so much freedom, like that's amazing. Like I use it as a tool, not a crutch. Right.
But of course it doesn't resonate with you because you don't spend most of your time doing things you feel compelled to do that you don't want to do. Most of us spend a lot of our time doing things that we feel compelled to do, but we don't want to do them. We do them out of duty. We do them out of routine. We do them because it's what we've always done.
Yeah.
You've already broken that, so you don't need the.
Yeah, I think so.
You don't need the break.
So yesterday was a strange kind of stress of like, I want to, not like I'm got to interview Kevin O'Leary and I'm stressed out about doing a good interview or whatever. This is more like up against the clock. I took on something. I want to get it finished. I'm not going to get it done until next week. Now that ended up being fine. But if that was every day, then I would probably need to have a moment or two.
You had a bit of anxiety, right? A little bit of frustration, a little bit of worry, a little anxiety.
Yeah, I wanted to get it done.
That's what I live with all the time.
Oh, I know that. I'm gonna just keep this page open about boredom. I think there's something good in there that will really serve you.
Awesome.
Anyway,
so the thing that I don't know if we talked about this in the past or not, but
so how can you learn without getting indigestion? Because a little bit of that push.
Earlier this week, I listened to and I bought a few more books on tape, and I find that the the books are like this weird medium thing, right? Like if you're reading a book or listening to a book, it's not quite the same as a podcast. It's longer. There's more nuance. There's more context. It's more detailed. It's trying to help you get better versus just showing you, hey, look at all these awesome people doing awesome things. Like social media doesn't get me down anymore. Like not even subconsciously. I spend so little time. Feel like I don't have FOMO. Like it's not, I think you've hit on
that's what it is on the podcast. It's an amazing person, and you feel like you
no
suck.
on the podcasts. What it is it's like so for example, there was a podcast I listened to 3 times in a row, and I sent to Louis, and I was like, Louis, you got to listen to this. And it was
with the same one on repeat.
Yeah, while I was running, like a bunch of days in a row, I listened to it over and over again, and it was an Impact Theory episode that was titled something like Billionaire or something. Anyway, there was this guy who built up 3 different companies and sold each company. And he was talking about
The Walmart guy?
The guy who sold to Walmart. Yeah, exactly.
Mark something.
Loved the episode, listened to it. It was like, wow, this is amazing. But the very things that he said that he spent most of his time on and what was required of him as a leader and as an entrepreneur, I'd say 70% of the things he talked about were things that are my greatest weaknesses. And so, yeah, I mean, that's a situation where I listen to it over and over again and I go, he has something I don't have. I'm not good at what he has. Maybe I can't do what he's done. And so I would say that is the trap that I fall into. No matter.
And then you listen to it 3 times. Yeah, exactly. Okay, keep going.
Well, I listened to it 3 times to think. No, it took a few weeks for it to really soak into me that I'm I'm pretty, because I don't have these like people is my biggest challenge, right? And so,
but it didn't take a few weeks. It took a few weeks to bubble up into your conscious,
to be able to come up to the point where I'm like,
where you can think about it. But
and then I tie that with the fact that I'm an INTP, and most
it already happened.
INTPs, because INTPs aren't good with people, and so it's just like,
it happened as soon as you listened to it. You just couldn't identify it.
Sure.
Yeah. Indigestion.
Yeah. I mean, there was a reason I sent it to Louis to say, Louis, you got to listen to this. And then we had conversations about how it's like, listen, everything he's talking about are things that you're good at that I'm not good at. So yeah, I mean, it was, I don't know what the answer is other than more self-awareness to go, oh, I'm feeling, I don't listen to the news anymore because it gives me anxiety. Just shutting more things out that, I don't know. That doesn't seem like the answer though, does it? To shut out things that challenge you just because doesn't make you feel good? No.
Well, here's the thing. Inside of that conversation, it's like parsing out a meal. There are some things that you can learn from and get better at and improve, and some things that you shouldn't. Like you shouldn't, if the goal is, hey, I don't want to get better at people, I'm going to have Louis who's going to be great at people, then don't feel like a loser when an HR driven CEO comes on and is talking about all of their HR policies. You say, okay, like this should be, yes, send it to Louis. Awesome. Like, Louis, go learn from this. Not, I suck at this, so let me listen to it 3 times and go further into the hole of why I suck at this, right? It's just like what to do with the information. Some of it is going to be totally irrelevant. Some of it will be actually pushing you forward in a positive direction. You don't have the digestion system to figure it out yet. So what it might require is like learning days that are outside of books. So if you know that Tom Bilyeu stuff like tastes the best, but is also the hardest to digest and makes you feel worse about yourself, and you're
really holding on to this analogy
because it's great.
You're really holding on. Because
it's great because you'd rather listen to impact theory than listen to most books.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. It tastes the best. You'd rather listen to it, but it's causing you deep insecurities, frustration, anxiety that then don't actually serve you.
Yeah,
so I think what you need to do is you need a if you're going to take on the big podcasts like that, you need to have an equal amount of time as a reflective meditation afterwards.
Maybe.
Yeah. You need to go for a run afterwards and just think about what happened and start. That's your digestion process.
Well,
you have to digest it.
So ultimately, the turning point I've had, I appreciate it. Thank you.
He's not even listening. He's just skipping over. That was gold right there. That just saved his entire life right there.
Listen.
Season 4, we're bringing it.
That I don't listen.
Moving on to the next topic.
I listen. I need to spend more reflective time reflecting upon it and how it applies to me.
You got to digest it.
I should let it in, or I should not let it in. Here's like the specifics of it, though. Here's the thing.
Wow.
Here's the specifics of it.
Okay, good. Tell me.
A company is only as good as its people. And we had a really good team and we had good people and things seemed to click. But people's not my strength. And so it's just,
when are we talking about? When did you have a good team? What era are we talking about? Like the team you built or the team Louis built?
The way I was feeling last week in terms of the best years were behind us. And maybe, when I was really upset and sad, it was, the turning point has been now that, and the challenge with podcasts and other things is, like most people, I get really anxious and worried about the things that I can't control. And the things that I feel like I can control, either because I'm directly on it, or, I'm doing a good job, or energy or time. Like, I'm just going to throw man hours. I'm going to throw energy. I'm going to throw money. I'm going to do whatever it takes because I can control it. Great. So every company, it just really comes down to the quality of people and the systems. And those are the things that I'm the weakest at. And so but it comes down to more than just the quality of systems and the people. I don't know if that's true. I think,
but this is the problem. This is why you need to go for a run. Of course it does. That means no business needs Mark Drager, because Mark Drager sucks with people and thinks he's good at process and tries to control it and shouldn't be in charge of process and should let it go ASAP. So then what's left with Mark Drager? Lots of awesome stuff, but in your head is nothing. This is why you need the meditative run after listening to the show.
Well, so where I came to on the weekend was, just full clarity, no shame, no embarrassment. Just this is the truth, and this is what it is. I know what we need to do to rebuild, which is why we're in season 4 now, right? And we just need to do the next 3 or 4 steps, step after step after step, and we'll be able to get there. And I have confidence in that now. Yeah.
Great. And it came off of a weekend where you didn't listen to a podcast.
It did. It came off of a weekend where I didn't listen to a podcast, coming off of a vacation that wasn't that great and was really hard, and coming into a week where in a season now for the next few months where we're doing some pretty hard things and moving really fast.
I think you need to impact. Is there any other one that like really makes you feel that way? Like tastes great, but gives you an indigestion?
Podcasts. Let's see. I don't listen to as much Gary Vee anymore, but when I did, it was similar. A mix of inspiring and I'm better than these people, and and oh man, these people are so much further ahead of me. It's always a crapshoot depending on who's on.
Okay, so it's Tom. Great. Is there a difference between the health ones versus the interviews versus the conversations? He's got 3 series.
Yeah, so I like conversations with Tom the best because that's when there's the most context.
But that gives you the most insecurity. Like the health one doesn't give you insecurity. Health one, it's just
health
information.
The health one, as long as it's not COVID related, I don't listen to the COVID related ones because that would worry me. So, but the health ones are fine. Interesting and I like, but I never look forward to. But coming out of it, I was like, oh, that was really interesting.
The interviews are
pretty vanilla, but
okay, so good. It's Tom. It's Tom.
The ones that I like the most are the conversations with Tom.
It's him.
They really dig into things. It's not him. It's his guests.
No. But it's like what Tom brings out.
No, but it's listening to Jocko talk about, extreme responsibility and the importance of team and leadership, and me going, oh man, maybe I'm not taking responsibility enough. Maybe I don't have it. Like it's all of that stuff.
Yeah, but you don't have it. That's fine. We know that you don't want to have it. But this is where you need to go.
I should have it.
That's the run. So conversations with Tom. This is great. Now you do the elimination diet, and then you slowly find the thing that is causing the problem that you're allergic to. You need to, whenever you're doing conversation with Tom, have an hour afterwards to go for a run and get your head straight on it. To parse out the knowledge and
what a prescriptive thing to do. Like
you're welcome.
Like I have to now schedule. I have to schedule like, okay, Friday mornings, 7 a.m. I'm going to listen to a conversation with Tom, and then at 8 o'clock I got to do a run. So I set myself up.
Well, do you want to hate your life or you want to rebuild? What's season 4 about? Are we getting out of it?
Rebuild. Great. Well, season 4 is the build.
So,
I don't want to hate my life.
Great, Mark.
Anymore.
So when you build, do you have a plan to build?
Yes.
You just great. So here's your plan.
I have a plan. I have step by step.
So that's
I know
your step.
What I need to do.
We just gave you a plan. So don't complain about being prescriptive when you need to have a plan. Perfect. You just
Can I
got
tell
it.
you the other thing that the fence reminded me of?
Oh yeah.
When I was busy going like, oh man, like I've waited. It made me realize that while I'm very good at painting a picture in my head or for others as to what the future could be,
Yes.
the reason I actually think I'm good at process, I may not be good at process on the level you're thinking of process, but what I'm very, very good at is actually going, this is what the vision can be. How do we get there?
Yeah.
And then I can just back up the 12 steps to get there. So that fence that I put in around my pool, 3 years ago now, I had to put in 4 posts because in the order of building everything, those posts had to go in at that time.
So why do you actually suck at process? What's the difference? What's the process you're good at versus the process you suck at?
So the process I'm good at is being able to go, if we want to achieve this, here are the next 12 steps we should take. The part that you probably think that I'm bad at is the minutia of, who does what at what time, when, goes to who, has to hit this, has to hit that, and keeping it simple enough without making it complicated and having it work for the people.
Yeah. When you get into the actual doing, you're great at managing yourself. So if you had to do the whole thing, you'd have your system.
Yep.
You would do it. You don't care what anybody else thinks.
Right.
You want to plant the poles? You want to rent this truck? Great. You're going to get it done. You're going to follow your process. But other people don't want to follow your process. And you don't want to have the patience to guide them through how to follow your process. So this is why when anything revolves around a team, it falls apart. You can't be in charge of the process when you don't want to have the patience to lead the team through the process. So Mark Drager wants to do scrums. I don't care if Mark Drager wants to do scrums. It doesn't matter. Is Mark leading the scrum? So he doesn't get to decide the process. Whoever's leading the process has to actually decide the process. So you can build your backyard. Awesome. It's Mark doing everything. Yeah, you can lead yourself. Awesomundo. But not when it involves somebody else.
Right.
It's not that your process itself is wrong. You just don't want to guide people through it and train them and mentor them and have the patience for them. And if you don't want to do that, awesome. Then you can't be in charge of the process. So don't try. Give it to somebody else. Stick to what you're great at. Don't worry about being in charge of the process and then mucking it up when people don't get it. You're not in charge of process. Your vision, where we're going to take it, 12 steps, awesome, great. High level overview, sell the dream. And then somebody else has to actually go do the work. And you're not allowed to touch it because you're just going to make it worse.
Perfect.
No, but that's great awareness. It's like, I don't
no,
want
and I like this. And this is what I had. So like I had a call with Louis yesterday. And I was like, Louis, here are the 4 steps we need to take, right? Big picture steps. But they count on you doing this and they count on the team accepting that. And when are we starting? Like when is this going to happen? We've been talking about it. It's middle of September.
But you dive too much into it. You dive into Scrum and Agile and all this stuff that does not matter because you're not in charge. You're going too deep. Doesn't matter. You're not in charge of that stuff. You're making it worse. Who's Scrum, Agile, something? It doesn't matter. You're not in charge. Do Scrum for yourself. Mark has his Scrums. Great.
Sprints. You have sprints.
I don't care.
Scrum.
It doesn't matter. Sprints, Scrums, Agile, it's all garbage. Nobody cares. Somebody else is leading the process. If you're going to lead me through the process and say, guys, what's our sprint for the next week or month or whatever? Awesome. And you're going to lead all those meetings and you're going to stay on top of everybody and teach them what a sprint means and how to do it properly. Great. You don't want to do that stuff. You're going to drive yourself nuts. So then you don't get to decide that it's sprints.
So it's on Louis. I'm waiting on Louis.
Great.
This is just turned now. This just for those listening. This is literally just turned into a mastermind meeting now that we typically have.
I don't even know. This season 4. We don't know. We're in virgin territory here.
Just tonight for dinner we're doing mastermind, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So this is usually what's like. I update Evan on what's happening, and then he goes on a rant and then tells me what to do.
But that's what we do on the podcast anyway. No, is that what we've been doing?
I know, but I usually push back a little more on the podcast.
All right. Well, you got it. you've already let go of that bottom layer. You just are frustrated that people don't follow your process at the middle layer. But the problem is that not that they don't follow the process. The problem is that you shouldn't even be involved in the middle layer.
No, so here's the challenge that I've had for a very long time. So what you just said is right. And the way that I always tell it to people is like, I'm not great at collaborating. Like if you need me to do it, I'll take care of it. Or you're going to take care of it. But there's no reason for us to both take care of this, right? Like either just let me do it or you do it so I don't have to worry about it. That's how I operate. That's how I think.
You're just a Navy SEALs. You're Navy SEALs. Mark, you're actually great at collaborating when all the conditions line up. You're the Navy SEALs. No, that's like it's elite team. Like yesterday when you said, hey, can you hop on I said, Mark, here's the landing page. What do you think? Hey, can you hop on a quick video call? And in like 8 minutes or whatever it was, you walked me through like, hey, make this font 32. Hey, can we squeeze that, refresh? And boom, it was all done. You're great at collaborating when you want to, when you respect the team, but it's like this elite, like you collaborate with Louis. It's this elite team with Joshua. So Mark has his like Navy SEALs team that he works with, that has access to him. But then the rest is the Army. And you don't put the Navy SEAL in with the rest of the Army.
Well, but here's the challenge that I have. So, and I've had it for a long time. When I approach something like I think you could give me any challenge and I would be able to figure out
I agree.
Like a probable cause, a possible solution, and here are the 5 steps to get to that solution.
Right.
So I don't need systems and I don't need processes because I can just rely that I'll figure it out the day of. What is this you're holding up here?
Oh,
you're
holding my nose. Food. We got a keto bagel.
Ooh.
With avocado, egg, mayonnaise, and salt and pepper.
You don't eat till 5.
Yeah, today I'm not. Today I need energy for all my calls.
I had breakfast on Sunday. Sunday morning, I think it was. Yeah.
Okay, keep going.
Anyway,
you're gonna PHA the crap out of it and deliver something. So it's like, Mark, can you help me design my car? Yes, of course.
Yeah. So we'll figure it out along the way. But so my style, my management style or lack of management style, whatever you want to call it, is always been to be like, okay, great. I'm going to step out and there's going to be a vacuum. And if someone steps into the vacuum, perfect. And if they don't, then I'm going to take it back. Because you just can't have nothing happening. And so this has been something that's kind of been a challenge for us, like on client calls, for example. Like the team has said for a very long time that I dominate conversations and client calls. But no matter which way we try to prep it in advance or try to do this or try to do that, like I step back and there's awkward silence. And if no one's going to step in, if no one's going to run with it, if no one's going to lead it, then I'm going to step back in. Hey, we need to move to agile, right? We need to move to a new process or whatever it is. Louis done research. I step back and I say, is this happening? If it's not happening, I'm going to take it back and run with it. And so that has been,
don't take it back. You got to give it to them.
Then nothing happens. I'm not saying that Louis is not moving forward with it, but I can, in my mind, if I ask 3 or 4 times what's happening with us, what's happening with it, and the answer is nothing, then it doesn't get done. And this is something that has been plaguing my company for a very long time. We sit down and we say, hey, we're going to develop a social media strategy. And it's like, great. We all agree to the social media strategy. We all agree to the calendar. We all agree to everything. I step back. I'm never going to check in on it again because I'm going to assume that you're doing your job and you're doing what you need to do. And you're going to let me know if you need my help with something. And then time goes by and I go, hey, where are we with this? What's happening? I haven't seen much work. And they're like, oh yeah, I haven't done anything or something like that. And so I have a few options. I can get angry. I can get mad. Or I can just take it back.
Or the right answer. So in Mark's mind, I can get angry and mad or take it back.
I can get angry. No, this is seriously. So I know you're about to have a big aha and reveal. I can get angry and mad and be condescending and belittle you and say,
or say nothing and take it back.
Or just be like, that's cool. And then just run with it.
Path?
I not mentor them more, not worry about it. What do you mean? What's the actual path?
If it's your inner circle, like Louis or Joshua, then you have to seek to understand. You have to
You're
ask.
going to pull something from Alex's credo there, eh? And believe.
You have to like, why is it not getting done? How can I help? How can I be a resource? This is still your thing. Because if Papa Mark comes down and to his little babies, all they get is yelling or ignoring and basically taking it back and say, you're not good enough. What do you think happens? A lot of angry little kids, right? Who don't feel good enough. So it's seeking to understand, and you doing that for your tight team. If Joshua doesn't get the podcast out on time next week, then what? Is it option A, let's yell at Josh and tell him he sucks? Or option B, saying, I'm just going to do it myself. Forget you, Joshua, right? Like, what happened, Joshua? Are you okay? Did we forget about the timelines? Are you stressed out? Like, actually caring about your Navy SEAL team who's around you. That's the only answer. And eliminating the two options that you think are the options. Those are not options.
Okay. So I go, hey man, what's going on? Let's use a real example, right? So we wanted to develop, in May, we developed a strategy for ourselves. In June, someone took over and calendared it out. In July 15th, we were supposed to launch.
Okay.
August 10th, I emailed and I was like, what's happening with this? Like, where are we with this? We met in May. We agreed on responsibilities and timelines in June. July 15th, it was supposed to launch.
Okay.
Some things were delayed on my side, but that didn't affect them. But just what's the progress? And the response back was like, oh, we've been really bogged down with some client stuff. Haven't made any progress. Haven't touched anything, in a month or two, but we'll let you know when we get back around to it.
Okay. Well, first off,
that pissed me off so much that I literally called Louis and I was like, I was so angry, but then, I calmed down a bit.
Yeah. Okay. First off, I'm sure the way that you just described it so nonchalantly is not what they're actually thinking. It's like, oh yeah, whatever. Big deal. It doesn't matter. No. That's how you position it. That's not what they're thinking. I'm sure they're not sitting there actually thinking, but whatever. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. We set this thing, but nobody really cares about this thing. This is stupid. Like, I'm sure they don't feel great that they didn't get this thing. That maybe they're actually stressed out that they've got a big workload as you actually try to find the email to read word for word what it was.
Word for word, because maybe I didn't read it that way, but yeah. Keep going. Yeah, maybe they're stressed out. Maybe they're worried.
So, expect mistakes, expect things not to work out. Great. So maybe they made the right judgment call. Maybe if they are overwhelmed and they're working with clients, what would you rather have them do? Would you want them to bug you every 5 minutes to say, Mark, should I do this or should I do that? Mark, this thing happened with X client. What do you want me to do? You don't want them bugging you every 4 hours with a new complaint, because Mark's going to get angry at you or take it away. So I'm just not going to talk to him. And hopefully he doesn't do one of those two things. So they made a judgment call, and maybe it was the right judgment call. Maybe focusing on client work instead of focusing on your social media strategy. Maybe that was the right call to make. Maybe it wasn't.
So here's the response. I've not had an opportunity to revisit this due to client projects. Once we're in a spot where we have closed the tight turnaround times for client A and client B, I'll have more time to dedicate to it. Thanks for checking in, smiley face.
Oh, that's not Louis. So you're not even allowed to talk to this person. I don't know why you're sending a message to them. What? That's Louis?
Okay. No. That wasn't Louis.
What are you doing? You don't talk to people. You have your ninja team, and that's it. Let Louis handle it. And maybe the person's overworked. Listen, I don't know who it is. Maybe they're overworked. Maybe they are stressed out. Maybe the client's being crazy demanding. And the last thing they need is Mark yelling at them or taking something away. Or maybe they're slacking off and need to go and you need to replace them with somebody else, whatever. But it's not on you to do the follow-up. It's checking in with Louis to say, hey, how are we on all these projects? From a macro, from our whole business standpoint, we agreed on these timelines in May, and then something happened, and then COVID came or whatever. That was March, but then client blew up, and we had to make a judgment call. Did we make the right call, Mark? right? Like you don't want to be involved in every single little detail, but maybe they made the right call.
I like how that made you laugh.
No, but like you just keep repeating the same thing over and over again and then get like bewildered why this thing keeps happening. We already know you should not be part of the process. You should not be following up with people on timelines, on things like social media. That's given to your operations person. And then you're talking to him who you can be collaborative with and have some understanding with. And maybe it's a team made a mistake, or there was miscommunication, or they forgot about it, or they're incompetent, or they hate you, whatever, and they need to go. Or maybe it was actually the best thing to do and they didn't want to bother you with that call because we saved a client who might have left the business. Would you rather we work on your social media logo, Mark? Like, what do you want us to do? And probably the last thing they need is Papa Mark coming down, breathing fire down their face. So let me try to deflect a little bit by sending him a winky face, and hopefully he likes his life a little bit better today.
It was the winky face that made me really angry.
You're not allowed to send those emails. This is what I'm talking about. You are not allowed to be in the process. You set the goals. You can set the strategy. You come up with agreed upon timelines and what the next steps are. And then you check in at a high level and have to continually manage the pieces.
Okay. Well, I need to learn how to do this better.
But
that is the first step of the rebuild.
That's the rebuild. Here's the thing. You don't send any emails to anybody on the team except for Louis and Joshua. Joshua's on your team. So that's a different thing, right? Mm-hmm. That's it. You don't send emails. Louis runs it, or your project manager runs it.
Okay.
Stuff like this happens all the time in my business, right? Like somebody didn't deliver, somebody made a mistake. Like yesterday on Instagram, we posted a video with the wrong thumbnail. Sorry, the right thumbnail, but the wrong video. So it's a video, it's supposed to be Joe Rogan and Kevin Hart talking about something. And then when you click it, it's a video of me that we posted the same day before. So we posted it yesterday, and then we posted it again today, just with a different thumbnail, but the caption is all about Kevin Hart, Joe Rogan, Kevin Hart, Joe Rogan. And it is me talking about how you have to post every day or something. And like nobody even paid attention to the caption to say, hey, like this doesn't make sense.
Super meta.
And then I messaged Nina, I showed her on the phone, like, what happened?
Yeah, but hold on.
Yeah.
I've seen the way that you talk to your team. I've been in meetings. I've seen how you talk. And
okay.
And so, do you think you were as nonchalantly as you're like, hey Nina, what's up with this? Or were you like, what is this? What is this? No, that's how you would be. No, I like my impersonation of you.
That would not be. I would not be that angry. But one, I'm actually more involved in the process of things than you should be, because depending on the person, this is the judgment call. Sometimes you need to go harder on them, and sometimes you need to go softer. Like we're just training somebody new to be in charge of the social content, and she made a mistake and posted the wrong thing. So it's like, well, should we delete it? No, just keep it up. It's fine. Like we make mistakes, ongoing. Let's just fix it for the next one. But I'm at we're growing. We've hired a whole bunch of new people. I think we're like 30 people now. I don't even know what everybody does right now.
Does Nina know what everyone does?
Nina knows what everybody does. Yes. But this is going to be a stretch for me. I know we're kind of coming up on the clock, but this is a stretch for me of, I feel my way through it. Right. So I have to kind of know what everybody's like, we're working. So I go to Nina like multiple times per week, asking, what is this person doing for us again? Like this person we hired, what do they do? And I'm thinking, are they in the right position? Can we give them more? Because it matters to the problem I'm solving right now, but it doesn't matter to anything else. And then I'm on to a new problem and like, ooh, what does that person do for us again?
Yeah.
So, and I don't know how it's going to keep, as we continue to, I'm feeling the stretch marks for sure right now in that. And luckily Nina knows what everybody does and has enough patience to answer my same question 3 times in the same week. But it's not the same question because I'm answering a different problem. So the way that I function is different. Where she might be, should be thinking, this person is this, and very task focused. And I'm thinking projects. So it makes sense to me why I'm asking that question again. And she has enough patience with me to go through it. Anyway, I don't know what's going on with that, but I'm more involved in the process. But I'm great at giving feedback. Like I'm hard on you on the podcast and all this and in our masterminds because that's exactly what you need. If it's somebody brand new who's teaching, Nina's harder than I am. Like, okay, they're learning. Like, did we do our part? Is the communication super clear? Did we train them enough? As a default response before saying this person sucks. Because I see something in that person. I like how they did this, but okay, we have to get them over that hump and default to thinking it's our fault first. So if somebody made a mistake yesterday, does that look bad? Of course it looks bad. Like we posted the wrong thing on my social account. It looks bad, but it's just one post and a lot that are come up. And if we can train that person properly, like she made a mistake. So default, like, did we communicate enough? And if yes, then maybe we have to switch that person out, move on to something else. But you won't find me yelling at somebody who it's not the best thing for them. Very rare. Like the last time I got so frustrated at something, I don't know what the last thing was where I like lost my cool in a way that didn't serve the situation.
Nina, your cell phone rang when I was on a rant. And then you slammed the door.
Yeah, maybe. And I think, of course we're hardest on the people closest to us. But yeah, that's probably one. That was like, how long ago was that?
A year ago?
No, I think less, maybe 6 months.
When your phone was ringing and you were doing a rant, slam the door. That was a year ago. That was before you went away, because you had the same thing kind of happen when you recorded that thing on the beach, and then you realized that you weren't recording or something.
Okay, and then what I do?
Lost, and you had to re-record it, and you were super angry, and was like, "Just go re-record it. It's okay." And you were like, "No, it was magic."
Oh yeah, it was really good. And listen, the re-recorded one became like the best videos. Imagine if we had the original. Come on now, fam. That was great. Sure, those little things happen, but that's my fault, right? Like I made a mistake. I recorded the thing in panoramic mode or whatever. What's the time lapse? I recorded it in time lapse mode. That was the problem.
Like super fast and no.
So it's like, how is this only a 7-second video? I talked for like 5 minutes, and I'm trying to look up ways to unpanoramic, but you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, a speed you can't. Anyway,
re-ramp at the speed. Yeah.
For myself, I'm super impatient, so I was like, that pissed me off for sure. Or I made a mistake, or I didn't notice something. Yes, but for somebody else, I mean, if we've gone over it over and over and over again, then it's more like, okay, how do we get this person out of this role? Because this isn't the best thing for them. If you want to see Mark Drager cry and me be very proud, check out the video right there next to us. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe. We'll see you there. Today was very practical. We realized that maybe half of what Mark listens to is hurting his confidence